The factors that contribute to parents' intentions to allow youth football participation. Youth football participation had seen a decline in the early 2000s. One of the most commonly cited reasons, but not yet researched, was that parents were not allowing their children to play football because of concern over head injury. One of the head injuries that they're concerned about are concussions. Concussions are a brain injury that results in temporary cognitive symptoms, but athletes usually recover after they've had a concussion. Football leagues have, specifically youth football leagues, but all the way through the NFL, have worked on preventing concussions, whether that's through equipment or many recent rule changes that are aiming to protect the head. However, what hasn't been done is to see why parents are actually, or why kids actually aren't playing football as much as they were. Is it actually because of concussion, or are there other reasons? This study looked at a model that included the theory of planned behavior. As you can see, the theory of planned behavior is a model that aims to predict intentions using attitude towards a behavior, the subjective norm, and behavioral control. This has been used in a wide range of fields, as well as in concussion research prior. It's been used for reporting concussions, it's been used for concussion education and concussion management. The goals of the current study were to first understand parents' intentions behind allowing or not allowing football participation, and then provide a theoretical platform for future interventions in order to help better facilitate athletes still playing football, but in a way that is truly safe. So this was the model that we came up with using the theory of planned behavior, but adding a fourth antecedent of perceived risk of concussion in football. In order to complete this design, we first recruited participants through emailing schools or other organizations. We then distributed our survey across the country so that parents could complete it online using the platform Qualtrics. We created the survey ourselves and ran several internal consistency statistics to make sure that it was going to be reliable. And then at the end, we informed them about concussion so that they could learn more true information. Our study ended up having 491 participants ranging from the ages of 25 to 69 with a mean age of 43. On average, participants had just over 2 children that were under the age of 18. You can look here and see some of the descriptive statistics. In addition to looking at football, we also looked at the same model for soccer to see if it translated or generalized to another sport that also has high risk of concussion. As you can see here, the numbers differed per sport. But behavioral control remained high for both, meaning parents felt they had control over whether or not their child did play football. When you look at the intentions to allow football participation, you can see that it's widely distributed around the middle with a big peak around favorable intentions to allow it, and then smaller peaks right in the middle and at the end where they are not in agreement with football participation. In the end, we were able to find that attitude, social norms, and perception of concussion risk all had significant correlations to a parent's intention to allow their child to play football. Behavioral control did not, but as on the previous slide, you saw that behavioral control was very high. Here is a model that also shows the impact of each of the 4 antecedents on the intention to allow participation in football. You can see that the attitude towards football itself is the strongest, followed by social norms, what other people around them are doing, and third by perceived concussion risk. They were also all statistically significant at a value of 0.001. Some of the limitations are that this model did not generalize to soccer. However, you can see in this graph that this may be because soccer was too homogeneous of a group in that they almost all had very strong intentions to allow their child to play soccer. Despite soccer also having a high number of concussions, parents were still in favor of allowing their children to play mostly across the board. Additionally, this study used a hypothetical child. This is common in social psychology studies, but in the future we could confirm using their actual children. Additionally, that would help us with this was not a cause and effect study. We couldn't see what had happened before, and we couldn't actually follow up on whether their child actually played. So we could do some further investigation to look at their attitudes prior to the season, and then follow up if they did have a child that wanted to play football, did that child actually play football? Finally, the contributions of this study were three things that we think were important. First is that this study did identify possible causes of parents' intentions to allow football participation. It has been said that risk of concussion is one of the reasons one of the things that is contributing to parents' decisions to allow their children to play football. But this study showed that yes, it is actually part of a model that does predict parents' intentions. Secondly, and very similarly, this does provide empirical support for the link between concussion risk and football participation decline. Finally, this provides a theoretical basis for interventions to increase football participation numbers. Of course, we want to do that safely, but since perception of concussion risk is something that was correlated with intention to allow football, continuing to do things to mitigate that risk and to help educate about concussions could be beneficial to increasing football participation numbers. So those are what we learned from our study. Thank you.